Let's go. Alright, let's start with the player phase. And a lot of people find it funny how the lava tiles work in this game. In other games, like a plume of lava erupts from the floor, but in this one, it's, to directly quote someone in the speedrun, laser-guided rocks. You being 1 damage off finishing that guy off is really, really terrible, but at least that will give you a level up. And as you can tell, this chapter does not have Eternal Bond, and that is a very cool-looking battle background. One of the few Grail Mercenaries chapters that doesn't play Eternal Bond. Well, finally Blossom is actually being decent, but I still can't believe that Rolf hasn't really been able to gain strength unless it's been with Blossom. He's doing okay, but he really should have better strength by now. Well, he's finally out-strengthing Shinnon, so that's at least good. Obviously, you want to attack from not on the lava tiles if at all possible. It's 10 fixed damage regardless of your defense, but really 10 damage is nothing, and it's very easy to not be on the lava tiles. I finally ranked up your axes. That's good. Yes, this is a Gathering of Storms playing now. Who has your... You know what? I might as well trade Reynolds some... Because I'm just gonna let Reynolds transform Gauge Rays on its own. Yeah, let's just go ahead and trade the Lagoon Stone over the Racing, because I want as many 4 chance as I can. And yeah, Har is not going there. Okay, Rolf does have the crossbow, so if he does get attacked in melee, it's probably still fine. Yeah, this is that song that I didn't like very much before, but it has grown on me. I don't really dislike this song very much now. And it doesn't look like, yeah, Rolf is not on a lava tile. Unfortunately, in order to do this, I have to not chant this turn. But I will be hopefully getting 4 chants for the rest of this. Okay, that's tempting, but I don't want to step on the lava. I'll just have to regular steal. Gotta remember that Soren no longer has Adepts. You gotta remember that Soren no longer has Celerity. Okay, don't want Soren getting hit by too many things, but 1 general should be okay. Almost out of fire. Might as well switch to Thunder now. I only have 1 healer. Okay, Concoction on the obvious Concoction. Oh, we have more than enough vulneraries over that side. This might as well go this way. And Ulki, for now, I'm not going to half-shift it. The good thing about half-shift is that it is flexible. You can choose whether or not to use it in any given situation. You can choose whether to wait for a full shift or go for a half one if you really need to. I still have the giant shields that Sentinels/Lancers have. I think I'm going to be calling them Lancers because that is the name they are in the European version. There is one European version name that I'm definitely not going to be using. Seriously, Nephani's legs must be burning right about now. Disarm finally did something useful, although I don't have Heather to take advantage of it. Dawn also looks really cool in this game. Obviously, though, you don't want to be using it in a speedrun because it wastes time. In fact, in a speedrun, it's kind of funny. You actually don't want to do supports because the animation takes up a few seconds every time the character attacks. A few things that I was hoping you would go for Soren. Yeah, the enemy AI in this game is interesting. It does seem to prioritize, like, whoever's less of a threat to them, as opposed to who they're more of a threat to. Because obviously you would have done more damage to Soren, but I think the AI in this game is also aware of hit rates. In many Fire Emblem games, I think in Genealogy, although sometimes in Genealogy the AI won't attack if they know that they have a 0% hit rate. But if they have anything above 0, they'll go for it. But yeah, I think in Genealogy they prioritize, and yet more laser-guided flaming rocks, they prioritize damage over hit rate, but in this game they seem to prioritize hit rate first. I guess Mia can go over here. That is some decent damage she'll be taking, though. Gotta remember though, I will probably want to have Rayson do a 4chan here. Which every time I say that, it sounds like 4chan. I have no experience with that website at all, and I don't want to. Okay, now I need to... Okay, the question is, do I kill you, or do I try and get into position with other people? Okay, that's probably fine, because Rolf can just get chanted for and get off that spot. Gotta remember that Shinnen's still here too. I would like a crit here, please. No crit. Well, at least I have Rayson. Actually, Shinnen can get into a decent position, but would it be better for me to... I'd probably rather chant for Har. So it looks like I can't actually get into a position to 4-chant. It's going to have to be a 3-chant. And that is definitely a lava space, so I'm going to have Gatry. Exactly enough damage, nice. These Sword Masters are definitely getting harder to double. So at least the enemies are kind of improving. And this music is finally on our side again. Oh no, I can get a 4-chant there, but that does mean that Rolf ends up on a lava tile. But you know what? That might actually be worth it. Because if nothing else can attack Rolf, he's still going to be fine. And Rayson... Okay, yeah, I need to be careful of Rayson. I feel confident that I can kill those two, though. So yeah, I'm going to have... Mia should probably take out the Swordmaster, because she's pretty much guaranteed to double. A lot of people have been saying that Mia's really useful in hard mode because she's one of the few people in the Grail Mercenaries who's nearly guaranteed to double all the time. Maybe I just didn't buy her a steel blade in that file. She couldn't damage anything when I last played hard mode. Let's, I think Gatry should probably go down here and just, yeah, hand axe. Hand axe is doing as much damage as a short spear because this game and axes. It still does have a really cool background, although some of the GBA Lava Chapter backgrounds are also cool. Lava, I mean, in general, tends to look cool in most video games it's in, even though it rarely works. Like, you know, if this was real life, we'd all just be dead right now. Because of convection. Okay, then. I need to be sort of careful here, because you guys might be able to gang up on Rolf, and Rolf is on a lava space. And the rocks can kill you, by the way. Oh, I should have gone for the mages, actually. They'd probably be a threat to him. I forgot to mention this in the last part when Har promoted, but... Well, two things. Firstly, the Dragon Lord class is called Lindworm in the Japanese version, which is referencing a very specific type of mythological creature. And the second thing... How's your resistance? 10. Of course, Shinnen's is significantly better. But Rolf is in support range of Shinnen. So as long as he dodges one of those, he should be okay. And missed attack something. But yeah, the other thing is, there are a lot of people who think that Har's helmet in 3rd tier looks really cool, but I'm not one of them. I don't like the fact that you can't see Har's face anymore. And here, like, Jill in 3rd tier, she does still show her face. And I know that, you know, from a practical standpoint, nice flare there. From a practical standpoint, obviously having a helmet in a war zone is better than not wearing a helmet. As most, in terms of that impracticality, many Space Marine sergeants can attest to. But, anyway, like I was talking about the lava though, since when have video games cared about what's practical? I just think characters look a lot cooler when they, actually... Okay, you're not range. That's good. I can probably afford to lure a couple of you in the Ike, actually. But, yeah, I would much rather have no helmet on Har when he's promoted. I might actually have to Wild Heart, because considering that this is Miss we're talking about, it's, yeah, definitely better if I kill off the physical enemies. Definitely better if I kill off the physical enemies. Okay, come on, you can get impaled at least once. It does look really cool. So yeah, I'm not really that big of a fan of Har's third tier outfit. It reminds me a lot of, in I think both Ratchet and Clank, it's weird to be talking about Ratchet and Clank in Fire Emblem, but bear with me. In both Ratchet and Clank 2 and 3, there's an ultimate armor that you can eventually get. Like, you buy armor upgrades as you go through the game. Okay, you aren't dying, and that means that Miss needs to run away. Because, yeah, Mist is going to die if you attack her. Don't really want Ranulph to get attacked by those two either, because they will probably double him. Well, actually, the mage won't double him. In general, won't double him either. Maybe Ranulph is fine. I mean, I'd much rather they attack people who can counter them, though. Yeah, let's just keep these two out of danger for the moment. Speaking of danger, though, I will need to watch out for Rolf. But yeah, what I was saying is that the highest level of armor in both Ratchet and Clank 2 and 3 comes with a helmet that covers Ratchet's face, and because of that, I never buy that armor, because he loses so much personality, and it covers his face even in cutscenes as well. So you don't get to see any of his facial expressions at all. It just makes him look like just some generic guy with a helmet, rather than the actual character that he is. So I don't like Har's third tier outfit for the same reason. I mean, it does... Well, you're not going to attack Rolf anyway, apparently. I mean, it does give this cool, almost like Sauron vibe. Like, his armor is very Sauron-ish in third tier, but I still would prefer if he didn't wear a helmet. I think in later Ratchet and Clank games, they actually gave you the option to turn the helmet on or off once you bought the highest level of armor. I know that the armor in Deadlocked had a helmet by default, and you could turn it off in the options. I prefer that. I mean, that way you have the option of having the helmet, but you also have the option of, you know, seeing the character's facial expressions. There's an old TV trope for it. Helmets are hardly heroic. I remember, like, there was a long time ago on, like, the official website, there were actually that's weird, that guy is, not moving. The enemies are kind of idiots and will step on the lava tiles, so yeah. Hopefully Rolf will be the last one on my side who steps on the lava tile, though. But yeah, it was like an official Games Workshop thing that had rules for like certain kinds of war zones, and there actually was a rule that punished people for having their sergeant models with no helmet. There was like I forget exactly what I think it was like an acid rain condition, and it says like any model that doesn't have a helmet has to roll to take damage from this. So it's like, that'll teach you to... I think the exact words were, Mr. I'm a Space Marine Sergeant, I don't need a helmet. I mean, most people make their Sergeant models without helmets for the same reason why I prefer Har without a helmet, and that is it has more you see more personality that way. But anyway, let's not go on too many relevant tangents here. Even though this is pretty much just a bog standard route chapter that happens to also have lava in it, the year is still amazing. I'm trying to think of, like, of all the lava chapters in the series, which one's my favorite, because this is a very basic lava chapter. There's nothing really all that much unique about it. I kind of like the one from Sacred Stones, but only because the Gorgon eggs are so fun because they give massive experience. I kind of need to heal Rolf here. I also need to be a bit careful about how far I advance, though. Maybe Rolf's going to hold back for now. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's treasure here, but most of the treasure is not really that important. So, if I don't mention a treasure, it's probably because it's not important. Wait, what? Oh, that's height, isn't it? Yeah, that's like angled terrain. That's... Oh, unless I did just refresh YouTube. I'm confused now. Okay, I'm gonna actually put Gatry and Mia on the front lines here. And I guess I can equip that for a higher crit rate. Well, that's a ranged axe. I suppose I could send hard down the middle if I wanted to. I really don't want him to be stuck in the lava tiles. If I go here, he can probably at least canto to the side. Slight problem with this, though, is that he can't activate stun at range. And yes, now Wyverns have become super armored. There's even a heat haze effect to this map. It still looks pretty great, but... You're trying to think. The Sacred Stones Lava chapter, I kind of like that one. The Ellerwood chapter is, from Fire Emblem Blazing Sword, is an interesting concept. Because it's, it's not quite an Ellerwood solo, but it's an Ellerwood and only a couple of other characters allowed map, which is, again, very interesting. Okay, that's not lava, so I can afford to go here. I usually have Nephany and Ha supported by now. They usually take on one part of the map by themselves. But we're making our way through the enemies pretty quickly. Like I said, I don't really consider this chapter all that difficult. I watched another Radiant Dawn playthrough, an outtakes video that had so many outtakes on this one map, but I've never really had trouble with this one. There it is! That looks really cool. Expect to be seeing that a lot from now on. It may be one of my favorite mastery skill animations in this game. Yeah, I can actually swing around to the other side of your running to watch out for the elf guy. But if only one mage is attacking him, Ike's probably fine. I'm pretty sure that's not lava. Don't get too cocky with Ike here, but he's still pretty amazing. Unfortunately, he runs the risk of leveling up without bonus experience if I keep using him here. Yeah, your stats are great even with Wild Heart. Miss can't quite cross the lava tiles just yet. Obviously, I don't want Ulki going near the crossbow. Ulki can sometimes tank a crossbow hit, but not always. And yeah, Miss will go where he used to be. It would have been funny if you hadn't used that vulnerary, because then you would die to the lava tiles, although obviously I don't want that, because that means that your experience is lost entirely. You can't lose experience to NPCs in this game, but you can certainly lose it to lava if you're not careful. And that's Ha's first, well, it shouldn't be called stun, it should just be called kill. Ha does not need to set his axe from stun to kill because the stun switch is broken. Like Ha is. As he will hopefully demonstrate right now. Oh, no stun. Okay, then. I actually kind of like that because that gives other people a chance to shine. I didn't know that would happen, but I took that risk anyway. Because you suck. That's partly due to the Soren support, but Ike is still just great in general. And that's, speaking of generals, that is the general, because nothing else moved. I was wondering what that was for a second. I thought it was like a long-range attack, but no, it's this guy. And now he is no more. Good thing that he's gone, because enemies that don't move are always an annoyance in route chapters. Pretty sure there will be reinforcements that come from the eastern side of the map in this one. So Ike not one-rounding... I take that back. Ike is one-rounding someone with Etard. Like I said, Ike is just stupidly good at this point. But unfortunately, he's definitely leveling up this turn. Not to you, but definitely to one of the other warriors. I haven't actually played Fire Emblem Warriors. Is it like Heroes where, like, does someone yell out Fire Emblem Warriors on the title screen? You know, now I think about it, I think they actually do. I may have seen a little bit of footage of that game. Yeah, get used to this. This is pretty much how third tiers work from now on. You will be seeing mastery skills almost every fight. And when the Grail Mercenaries start hitting third tier, that's when things start getting ridiculous. But then things balance themselves out in part 4. And maybe even later in part 3, if I train the Dawn Brigade, right? And this is obviously going to be a terrible level up. Yep, absolute worst possible level up. And you're a longbow, but you're attacking from close range for some reason. I don't think I've ever actually used a longbow in this one. Roll's been too busy not gaining strength. And someone's getting rocked. Effectively, that vulnerary only healed this guy for 10 rather than 20. Okay, can Rolf do this? Yes, he can! Suddenly, he is Bob the Builder. Rolf's at least being sort of alright. And he's starting to gain more and more experience because the enemy's levels are starting to get higher. Do I want to go for a... No, I actually should go for someone here. So I could potentially get a 4-chan. Maybe I should just check to see if I can have heart attacks and then go back into the diamond. By the way, Gage will also be getting a really cool shield in third tier. I really like the way third tier generals look. Oh, this is... I forgot this counted as an indoor map. I mean, that makes sense, but yeah, Ha's movement's lowered by 2 here. Not that that really matters, his movement is still very good. But yeah, forgot about that for a second. But Raisin doesn't count as mounted, and neither does Ulki, so they're free to move as much as they want. Let's go for a quad chant here. Gotta keep an eye on Raisin's transform gauge, though. Oh no, it's still pretty high. Herons, I think, have one of the slower raising transform gauges, but that also means it's one of the slower dropping transform gauges, so it sort of balances out. Dragons are obviously the slowest. That is not a lava tile, so I can probably afford to attack you from here. Yeah, that's enough. Admittedly, the Daunt animation does kind of drag things down when you have to see it for every single fight. I like how things kind of went in slow motion after Nia did that flip attack. I kind of want to heal Gatry, but... By the way, the 2 generals down here, they don't really move until you attack them, so you'll need to go after them yourself. Ha can't quite get down there. Rolf could, though. I think that guy does move, though, although I could be wrong about that. Shinnon can't quite get into a good position, though, and Rolf's defense is not... Oh, Shinnon's defense obviously is better. That could actually be really bad. I don't want to get too cocky here. Maybe I could try luring something with Rolf. Okay, Ranulf is at max, which is good. I might want to have Ranulf beat the boss in this chapter, because, well, obviously you know why. Can't take you down like that, though. That is actually a lock space. So, rather take you down from this direction. So Soren's probably going to get hit by this crossbow bolt. I might want to preview how much this does to Ulti. No, the enemy is dead. That looks more impressive with spells with cool animations. Actually, I think it looks better with generic Thunder than it does with Elwind. Ah, good, Nephany can go all the way down here. Perfect. Because this, I feel like this Nephany could probably solo this map. And now that she's in third tier and has even more skill, she's going to be getting disarmed with a lot of frequency. I almost said alarming frequency, but that would sound like a pun, even though it's not technically a pun, more like a rhyme. Only 4 turns in and we're almost, like, let me just check. One more enemy down will be equal with their numbers. So these guys certainly had a bad job. However, I don't want to speak too soon about this chapter being over shortly, because there are definitely reinforcements. I think I'll send Ulti down there. Don't think Mist has healed anyone. And I'm pretty sure no one can get to race from there. Okay, I didn't need to worry about Rolf at all. Even though this crossbow is terrible against you. I do wish they would bring back crossbows. Wait, what? Okay, you are moving. Interesting. You don't usually do that. Gatry used a hand axe anyway, didn't he? No, he didn't. Now, I need to kind of get a move on here. I like to snipe the enemies over this little... And yeah, more reinforcements. Not like there's a lot of them. I think in the speedrun you have to be really quick to just finish off the enemies before the reinforcements come. So yeah, like I was saying, I like to snipe the enemies from here. Yeah, no, not. I like to snipe the enemies from here, because otherwise they do like to use this lava as kind of a defensive position. It's not technically a defensive position, but it sort of works like one because you can't really step on it for fear of taking massive, well not massive, but taking fixed damage. Rolf has got a pretty solid base crit rate, though. And thank you, Google. Druid seems to be wearing a kind of face mask underneath their hoods in this one. Either that or their face models are just animated very, very strangely. And this is a bond support as well, so now Rolf's crit rate is going to be even higher, as is Shinnen's. Double skill activation. I think that actually is No More Steel Blade. Yeah, Shinnen is still doing amazingly. Yeah, now you've camped resistance as well. Just bear in mind, this is no transfer bonuses Shinnen, by the way. Yeah, Rolf is going to take a while before he gets up to that level, which is kind of annoying. Obviously not going to send Mia down there, because really, really don't want to go in the lava. Oh, really? One use left. At least we get to see rare footage of an enemy actually breaking their weapon against us. But that's kind of funny. If Shinnen had got that level up before he did that fight, then it actually would have broken the weapon. No, friend. Oh well, Gatry can finish it. So it looks like things are going to get the most intense around here. I usually like to pincer attack this group, like have Nephany, Ike, and Soren head around here and strike them from here and from above at the same time, but the enemies moved on their terms before I was able to force them to move on mine. Hopefully it won't really matter. That's the first melee critical with Gatry, I think. Surprised, because he crit all the time in melee and Path of Radiance. Though that was mostly because I was using a lot of silver. I used a lot of killer lances on him. It's weird. I keep forgetting Soren can heal. I really should stop doing that. Let's just use fire, because it's a lava cave, and it's only fitting. The enemies are already burning to death, might as well speed the process along. Wearing full armor in a lava cave, probably not the smartest thing to do. Neffany can't quite get into a good position. At this rate, Neffany should probably just go over here with everyone else. But I think I'll have Ike. This won't finish you off, but it will come pretty close. No, it will, because Ike loves to prove me wrong in this chapter. Ranulph can make use of his really nice movement, but his transform gauge is already down 5 because cat transform gauges suck. I still have Raisin, but he's gonna get destroyed if I put him there. I mean, I go there. If he does that, and then Kanto's over there, which he could easily do. You know, let's try that. Yeah, Rolf has moved. He looked for a second like he hadn't moved. I mean, I don't really know how much use this is going to be, because neither of Gatry and Mia can really attack anything without going in the lava. But I suppose... Oh no, wait, there is still one enemy mage here. I think if I do this, Ha will be able to Kanto back. So let's take you out. And then I can probably afford to put Gatry on the lava, because nothing will be able to damage him to the point where he'd be on 10 HP. And here is Worm. I didn't get to fully explain it last time we saw this, but the reason why I was not sure why they actually translated this as Worm, which is its Japanese name, is that when the Worm, which is, I guess, technically a dark spell in Marth's games, even though there's no magic distinctions in that one, but when that appeared in Shadow Dragon, they localized it as Swarm. You know what? Let's actually do this. So that significantly blocks you guys off. And there are a few ranged weapons over there, though. Maybe I can see if any of you want to attack Mia. Just in case that wind edge breaks. And I guess Ulgi can go over here in case he needs to rescue Raisin or something. It is very easy for the enemies to bottleneck themselves in here, though. But Raisin should hopefully help me break through quickly. You know, if Septimus goes for Gatry, I kind of don't want Gatry to kill him, because I really want to do with Ranulph, because that's fitting. Ike has pretty good boss dialogue with him, too. So Gatry should be getting to 20 here, which will no doubt result in a terrible level up, but I don't really have a lot of bonus experience at this point. Yeah, the fact that you can bonus experience people into 3rd tier does make this game considerably easier than in the Japanese version. Because in the Japanese version, you only get one Master Crown between the start of Part 3 and now. And you don't get another one for... I mean, we will be getting another one in the next chapter, but it's not going to be in the Grail Mercenaries. You kind of end up feeling bad for Septimus here. Yeah, Gatry could very easily kill him. Gatry didn't even double, wow. Well, I guess Septimus is good at running away, so it makes sense for him to have decent speed for a general. Wow, not even Septimus' own men like him. They heal the generic general over him. And yeah, that's still in Daunt range, which is kind of fun. Daunt still works over barriers and over walls. You can do some interesting things with Daunt in endgame because of that. And that's exactly what I was hoping would happen, although Mia's not going to do much damage here. Yeah, I thought not. 3 damage. I kind of had a feeling she activated Depth, though. And that's why I had a second Wind Edge on hand, because she has now broken that 4-use Wind Edge. And that is the reinforcement group that I was referring to before, and that's Gatry. How much weight? I think we established earlier that Ulki can't shove. Ulki definitely can't shove Ranulf. Just saying, because I really, really, really want Ranulf to fight Septimus. Okay, we have a couple of enemies here who definitely need to die, because otherwise Rayson might be in serious trouble. But Mia kind of needs to stay there because of doors. Guess I can try and Sky Sentinel you. Even though I'd probably much rather try and take out the generals. Oh, by the way, that crossbow would just... Rayson would just not even die. He would just cease to exist if he got hit by that. Another corrosion cancel. Or CC, I guess. I guess Nephany could fight Septimus a little bit. Oh, right, yeah. Lancers have a higher critical bonus class skill. So, she now has, let me just check, critical plus 10. Not exactly the best critical plus skill, but, I mean, hey, it's better than nothing. Let's try and let's just hand axe down you, and then hopefully Mia can... No, actually, no, wait, Mia can't finish you, because then I wouldn't be able to get in and chant with Grayson. Yeah, these guys do tend to get bottlenecked at around this point, which can make this chapter drag a bit, but it's really not that bad overall. Guess I can think of other lava chapters. The one in FE6, I think, is a side quest. The first side quest, I believe, the one that has an enemy hero for some reason. I think in that one, which I believe was the first... In fact, I think that was the first lava... No, wait, no, it wasn't the first lava chapter in the series, because Mystery of the Emblem had the Fire Dragon Volcano, which didn't have lava tiles, but it was still technically a lava chapter, I guess. Yeah, it had that map, so... Or... I mean, as much as I like Nia to get a kill on something, this could mean that I can get the beasts to consume him. That was amazing luck, considering that Rayson has the worst growth rates of the Herons by far. If I am going to do this, though, Gatry needs to step back. Also, don't worry, the lava does not do additional damage to Beast Tribe Lagoons. That would be really unfair if it did. It's interesting, this boss theme, we've been hearing it for almost every single boss, but I don't really get tired of it. I actually think it's a pretty good boss theme. Path of Radiance's generic boss theme is good too. And just enough. Nice one. Ah! They're here! The subhumans! The mongrels are here! They want to consume me! Please critical, that would be amazing. Aww. A bit of a waste of experience, but I had to do that. I knew it. I knew I would end up like this. I feel so bad for that guy's death quote. But yeah, he's kind of the comic relief of the Bednion generals. By the way, yeah, so in the Japanese version, I mentioned that there was a boss with a really bizarre Japanese name. In the Japanese version, at least according to the copy of the art book I have, Septimus's name is literally Nose. It's Norzu, so just Nose. Also, Overkill and Pale, get used to it. But yeah, that might be an even worse name than Romus. Still not as bad as that boss from early Shadow Dragon, but... Should I? Nope. Yeah, that's a problem with being half-shifted. There's a Fire Mage there. I mean, I think Ranulph's probably not going to get hit by said Fire Mage, but don't really want to take my chances anyway. Ha's really running low on range weapons. I might as well equip one, just in case he gets attacked from range. This is usually not how this chapter goes. Like I said, I usually like to pincer strike them, but they move first, so I guess that's their loss. I like the lance twirl that Dragon Lords do. Slash, it is weird, because, like, Wyvern Lord would be the second tier variant. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't go with Lindworm, because Lindworm is a really cool name. The third tier... No, let's not do that. The third tier Pegasus Knights are in the Japanese version called Emblem Knights, but although, actually, I like the localized name for third tier Pegasus Knights as well, so that one's good. I mean, Dragon Lord is alright, but I feel like that's a better class name for, you know, like an actual, like, let's say a certain, like, a specific type of promoted Manakite, I guess. If it, yeah. I guess Fates is the only Fire Emblem so far to have Manakites with a promotion, but even though Corrin's only, like, half Manakite. I think we're okay for now. I hope Ranulph's fine. I hope I did not end up losing this chapter just for the memes. Ow, okay, he actually got hit. That's not good. They are piling on him, but I feel like that bishop might stay where he is. And if that's the case, then Ranulph is getting really, really unlucky. And if the bishop does stay there, then the Fire Mage won't be able to attack him. But yeah, speaking of Dragon Lord, I believe that's actually the name of the generic shonen protagonist of Fire Emblem Champion Sword, his promotion. Yeah, one day I might actually do a Let's Read Fire Emblem Champion Sword. I feel like I could make that kind of interesting. I still have all of the files. Like, looking back at it now, oh great, 2 mages appearing near Ike, that's not good. And I should have Olivia Grassed. I really should have Olivia Graph, but we're actually almost done with the chapter. In fact, if I play my cards right, I could actually end this right now. That's actually probably true. Yeah, Rolf can go all the way in there. Yeah, I'll need to be very careful about how I position people, but I may actually be able... actually on this side, I can't really kill everyone here in the space of 1 turn. But the enemies could all just die on the enemy phase. But yeah, like I was saying, I still have the scanlations. I do have 2 reservations about doing that as a project. The first is that the volumes are a lot longer than I remember them being. There's actually quite a lot to go through, and I probably have to cut out a ton. Because, yeah, no one will want to watch me cover every single chapter of that manga, because there's a lot of them. But the second reservation is the translation. I don't know if there's been a better translation since then, but the translation is really, I mean, it actually was done by a pretty, like, someone who was actually pretty high profile in the Fire Emblem fan translation community back in the day. I should not have done that, because now the maid can attack Ike on the enemy phase, and now I won't end it this turn. I really shouldn't have done that. That was really stupid. Unless I can somehow get someone to kill that. Can I race in hard to kill that mage? No, Racing does have celerity. Okay, let me try this then. So, Har is going to go to the back of this guy and whack him. I guess Har could Kanto there is the best I can go. I don't know if I'll still remember that location after I'm done with this guy. It's like 1 down, 1 diagonal. Anyway, I forget if it was Fire Lizard or Ace Noctali who did. Knowing me, it's probably neither of them. Who did the scanlation for that? But it was really good for its time, but I don't really think it's that good of a translation now. I'll just say, like, a lot of it is very typical manga fan translation. Let's just leave this sentence, like, let's just leave this idiom in Japanese, even though it makes no sense. Like, there's a lot of very awkward Japanese syntax in there, and some of the translations in general just aren't all that great either, and there's just some lines that come across as unintentionally funny because of the translation. Although, I mean, admittedly, there's a lot of that manga that comes across as unintentionally funny even without a dodgy translation. Because, yeah, there's a lot to make fun of in that manga. It's not exactly the best thing in the world. I don't know if it ever covered the other Fire Emblem mangas, though. I mean, there is that infamous genealogy one where the author is, like, an admitted Eldegun and Lacus shipper. Are siblings, by the way. Half siblings, but still. That's not like that makes it any better. Not only did he, like, it's funny, it's like, it's literally a canon case of die for our ship. Because, you know, now I think about it, I don't think Har will even be able to reach that other mage. Because he's down to 6 movement. Wait, no, 7. Which is 1 space off of that mage, except unless, please tell me, oh no, yeah, you're too heavy for Reynolds to shove. Definitely too heavy for Reynolds to shove. Unless there's a way for Rayson to... No, you're also 7. Ranulf can definitely shove... Okay, first things first, though. I probably need to have Rolf do that. I need to move. It's becoming a puzzle now. Oh, but if I do that, then I won't be able to kill that thing. Because I need Nephany or Ranulf to do that, and if I have to have Ranulf shove Nephany... Okay, there's gotta be a way to do this. Do you 1 round? Please tell me you 1 round. Ugh, just don't 1 round. Okay. There has to be a way to do this. That's an option. Okay, I think I have a plan. Obviously don't do that. That isn't enough damage, though. I've kind of got to pray for a crit here. Didn't get one. That's actually bad. Because I was going to shove Mia and then have Mia kill that thing. And then Raisin for Nephany, shove Nephany. And then Nephany would be able to kill that, so... Oh wait, no, but Orky can finish you off. No animation because, yeah. I have to make sure that I'm actually getting this right, though. Because now... Shove Mia. Mia had better 1 rounds. She exactly 1 rounds, which is nice. In fact, it's probably due to that support. I'm pretty sure Mia's fire affinity, which is +1 attack. At least a minimum of +1 attack. If I actually pull this off, I'll be kind of impressed with myself. Okay, so next step is... Well, I guess Miss can go ahead and heal, because she hasn't healed at all this chapter. Might as well get some experience for her. I mean, all this could have been avoided if I just used the Wind Edge on Ike here, because then this mage would have no choice but to die on the enemy phase, but... Okay, so... Here is the moment of truth. I must Gulda, and yeah, Raisin has access to Bliss, but that's not going to help here. That raises an ally's biorhythm to highest. Or at least the highest it can go for the character. Some characters don't have access to the highest biorhythm point. Yeah, if I shove Nephany... Please tell me that I actually did this. Holy crap, I might have actually done this. Yeah, that means that, yes, we did it! We actually did it! I was able to finish this in this turn. I mean, I know I'm nothing compared to a lot of LTC players, but still, that was... I'm impressed with myself that I was able to figure that all out. So that should be chapter over. Yep, that's it. End of chapter. So overall, I don't find that chapter that difficult. I love how Ranulph's killing these things even untransformed. So we're about to see why we made a major miscalculation before we went this route. Yes, we did, but that doesn't look like Gallia. Well, at least Scrimmer admits that he's rash. So, our fatal mistake? We let Scrimmer handle the navigation. Obviously not a good idea. Of course he'd end up leading us down the wrong path. Yep, we've entered the neutral territory of the not movers. Yeah, Kanagas is kind of on decent terms with Diginsia, so yeah. Speaking of Diginsia, we're gonna actually have to visit him. Also, in the extended script, Ike actually says a line here saying it's just like 3 years ago. Like I said much earlier, the Null Mode script, or the Japanese Null Mode script, strips out a lot of the overt Path of Radiance references in this game, which is kind of a shame. But we'll be getting some Path of Radiance references here, though. Also, for the first time, we actually get to see the interior of Castle Goldoa. Well, actually, we did in a cutscene in the last game, but here we are for the first time actually in their throne room. Yes, blame Squim here. We had an idiot leading us, and he obviously took the wrong path. I see. I understand your predicament. That's the last I'll do of that this playthrough. But anyway, you might notice something if you're used to the American version. In the American version, there was the H was in the second letter of Diginsia's name. It's still pronounced the same way, but it was inconsistent in its spelling with Path of Radiance. The European version fixed that, so I'm thankful for that. I have no idea how that slipped past the editors, but it did somehow. Probably more reason to believe the US localization was a little bit rushed. There's kind of a giant Bednion army that way, and we would kind of burn again. I love Ranulph's line there. I actually really like Diginsia's portrait in this one, though. It looks a lot more imposing than it did in the last game. So, this is something kind of weird. See, in Path of Radiance, and I feel like this might have also been an issue with the localization as well. I mean, I will say, Path of Radiance's localization was great, but they definitely weren't entirely aware of how certain characters would end up going in Radiant Dawn. The Black Knight, for example, came across as much more sinister and less honorable in Path of Radiance, which makes his characterization in Radiant Dawn a little bit inconsistent with that. Diginsia is another thing. Diginsia came across a lot more honorably in Path of Radiance, but according to Radiant Dawn, and according to the Path of Radiance art book, which is why I believe that it might have been a localization issue, Diginsia was always supposed to be depicted like this. In his art book profile, it mentions, like, under, like, values, it says, like, apathy or indifference, so he was always intended to be this way. So, there's a TV trope called Stupid Neutral, and Deginsia might as well be the poster boy for that trope, but, I won't be talking about that much now. Once again, Ike's wit is amazing. In the extended script, Ike has a line where he says, I'm probably more like the Lagoos than you, which is really interesting. The good news, though, is we have a couple of friends among the Dragon Tribe. Also, Nicaea being here shows that obviously him surviving Path of Radiance was canon. Well, makes sense seeing as beating the Black Knight is canon, and that makes Nicaea survive. So fortunately, these two can vouch for us. Nicaea's portrait looks a little weird in this game, though. I prefer his Path of Radiance one. But still, I really, really like Deginsia's portrait in this game. So, yeah, that is Rajeon, and here we're going to be getting, some more obvious indicators that Rajeon did indeed die at the end of Path of Radiance. It didn't really make it all that clear, especially the English version, but in this game they make it very obvious Rajeon is dead. They were able to restore him to his former mental state just before it happened, but he was too far gone to be fully saved. There's a bit of interesting dialogue here, though. This is kind of a nice line. I love this. It's just like, because dragons have such long lifespans, 3 years is just nothing to them. It might as well just be a few days. Yeah, I still love that. I still love that line. Just like, a long time. It's only been 3 years. So mysterious. So, good thing we have some friends among the dragons. I feel like I probably got the full turn bonus there, but I'm not entirely sure. So we've got a ton of bonus experience going forward. Something to mention, though, is a lot of lines in that exchange between Nicaea and Ina were actually localization added. Apparently in the Japanese script, that conversation ends just very, very abruptly. So that's interesting. A lot of people thought that it was an extended script issue, but it's actually not. The localization added a few lines to that one. I guess they thought, you know, Nicaea and Ina were actually pretty important in the last game, so it doesn't make sense for them to be just like, oh, go now, and then not say anything more. But anyway, we've made it through the Kalku Caves, we did not get totally burned, and we avoided the wrath of the Dragon King. Next time, believe it or not, we're switching parties again, because the war is about to get even more ridiculously complicated. As if it could get any more complicated. So, we'll find out who's entering the war next time, but there aren't many parties left, you can probably guess who it is.